Sorry, I didn't ask you that from the beginning. So
No,
we'll have
you're
to
good.
you'll have 2 videos now. Alright, so it's very busy in there. It's weird because I just checked her battery. It was already low, so something's draining. But anyway, the story here is it used to be called Cow Alley because this is where they kept all the livestock in Charleston.
Gotcha.
Charlestown originally started, but then they changed the name to Duelers Alley because so many duels happened down here. And now it's Philadelphia Alley, so when duels became stupid and illegal, they changed the name to a city that helped us out of one of our fires. So the story is very simple. The other ghost tours probably make it very dramatic still, but it's the story of Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd, the whistling doctor. So if you Google the whistling doctor, you'll get the big long story, but I'll give you the gist. So he moved down here from Rhode Island. He was supposed to get married to Amanda. Her parents just died and she had a huge inheritance, and the lawyer said, no, you guys aren't getting married. He told the doctor to go start his practice elsewhere. So he moves down here to Charleston. The coachman that dropped him off set him up to be robbed and killed. Somebody walking by, an attorney, his name was Ralph Isaacs, said, no, you don't want to stay here. Let me take you somewhere else. He takes him over to 59 Church Street. It's about 1.5 miles from here. So the two become friends. However, the whistling doctor became the whistler because his business is doing very well. He's a very happy guy. He's making lots of money. So the two used to go see plays together, but attorneys back then weren't what attorneys are now. So he was pretty low on the hierarchy. So that when they went to go see plays together, they got the words near death. That's interesting. That'll make sense here in a minute. But they had to sit in different seats when they went to the plays. So they had to talk about the plays on the way home. So they go see Richard III, Shakespeare. They're talking about the play. The doctor loved the new actress in town. Ralph did not. It turned into an argument and an insult party on the doctor's fiancée Amanda back home in Rhode Island. The two get pissed off at each other. They go their separate ways. The attorney, being a tie to Charleston, has ties with the paper. He makes a big ad in the paper that says the doctor's a disgrace to the city of Charleston. He's not from here. He takes our money. Those kind of things. The doctor gets mad, even worse, and he says, let's settle it in Duelers Alley. So they come down here, they take their 20 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air and he shoots. He didn't want to kill his friend. He wanted to make a point that he's willing to forgive. However, Ralph took 2 shots below the knees and the doctor dropped. Now, he didn't die. He was near death. Normally the loser of the duel is what? Dead, right? So they would normally pick up the dead loser and throw him through the gate over here, off to the right, which you're going to see because we're going to actually go around up to St. Philip's. I'll tell you some stories and we're going to come back down here. But there's a gate right there. They would take him over there and straight into their grave at St. Philip's Church. That didn't happen. So his friends pick him up, but they carry him home. He dies 10 days later. So it is said, as you walk through the alley, when we come back, you can hear the whistles from the doctor and or gunshots. Now the other interesting thing, other than the gate, about the aesthetics of this alley is that the bricks are going to get older as we walk through. These ones up here were replaced and repaired in the 1990s, but down there, those bricks were sun-dried by slave kids. We still have fingerprints and one full handprint in those bricks. Now, if you've ever been to Drayton Hall or Boone Hall, they're also there. So there's in 3 places at Charleston. And there's only one handprint. I'll point out the fingerprints and the handprint, but somebody lives to the right of that, so we have to move kind of quickly. So London will grab a quick picture for you so I can upload it to your files. We don't normally get a whole lot of activity. However, London did have a full spirit box session with somebody there, what, 3 months ago, 4 months ago? So, but anyway, she did have a quick spirit box session there, and Ralph does like to come through on my spirit box, but I've also had things that come up wrapped around the doctor. So I've had medicine, patient, those kind of things that were, you know, doctory type words. So it can go either way, but the initials RI have come up before, so that could be Ralph Isaacs or Rhode Island from where the doctor's from. Again, kind of hard to relate when I don't have enough clues to put it all together. So we're going to go through this little path right here and make a right. I'll point out the gate, but we're going to actually go over to the cemetery and I'll show you guys some other buildings. You may know some of them. It's more of a popular area instead of the weird places like the Pinckney Mansion site. But they're good stories and we actually have data to either back it up or, you know, debunk things.
Gotcha.
So let's go check it out.
Gotcha.
gonna be doing this in like 2 years.
Oh, okay.
I actually have a store that sells ghost hunting equipment and paranormal books on here.
Oh, that's
Kind
cool.
of like a bookstore.
Yeah.
And then the upstairs, I hope to have apartments up there that I can rent out
Mm-hmm.
as a haunted ghost night. So
Gotcha.
the guests up there will get a full training session with me.
Okay.
Record all their data. I'll upload it for them in the morning.
Yeah, that'd be
but
pretty
I'll
cool.
charge $500 a night.
Yeah.
So it'll be a premium
Yeah.
style stay. We're gonna make it work. Of course, in order for me to do that, I need a haunted building.
Yeah.
This room here, I've got my eye on.
Okay.
Watching restaurant, at least it used to be. We get weird things out of the windows,
I'm getting
pictures
ate up.
there. And, actually, that was part
You
of the
getting
reason
ate
why I
up?
bought the thermal imaging camera, but it doesn't see through windows. So
They're eating me.
you get the neighbors back here, because these are apartments. They come out here and start yelling at them, videotaping it, and taking pictures of their house, and they get mad.
That's
That's
got
happened twice.
12.
But things move around in there. The doors don't stay locked. There are, I think, 4 apartments total inside.
Right here up top.
Yeah, the brick.
Okay, I was gonna say that
Right,
was
right.
Regular.
okay.
Yeah, that's another cool way to look at it. Plus, it's right next to the market. So, and on the condo, so I have all that publicity. Looks like there's a group up there now, so I'll kind of give you the skinny of what's going on with this whole area. First off, we have the Powder Magazine over this way, which is on paper the oldest building we have. It says 1713 on the sign out front. I will argue that the Pink House, which is also haunted, was 1712, so it's beat up by 1 year, only it's not recorded. So we have a lot of things that they're not a city document. That is what held our gunpowder for 11 different wars, in and out. So it was always kind of like a moving place. Let's move it to Charleston
Gotcha.
and save it for a few months kind of thing. It is a groin vaulted ceiling. So what does that mean? 8 giant pillars on the outside of it, 32 inches thick, and they all come to a center meet of another one in the center.
Yeah.
The roof is actually filled with sand. So in the event it actually got attacked or hit from a cannonball, all of the explosion would stay contained. It's also, as you can see, 3 blocks away from the coast.
Yeah.
So this would have been kind of aligned with where I told you guys. I didn't tell you guys about the cannonball back there because I was keeping it brief. So back where Crude Cafe was when we first started, right past that there's a stop sign. And there was a Revolutionary War cannonball that was found that was shot from the water and landed right there. That's the tragedy of all that. But we did actually capture some of those cannonballs. We are on Church Street. You guys want to take a look at my phone?
Yeah,
Just so
I
you
know
guys
exactly where
This used to be Dock Street, which is where Dock Street Theater is. So the stories are tied to St. Philip's Church, obviously. There's the Pirate House right across the street, across, next to the cemetery, the west side. You can actually see their gas lamp still burning. Somebody lives there. Don't go in his backyard; he gets mad. Don't ask me how I know. But 1 block past that is Dock Street Theater. So those buildings all kind of tie together. The reason being is, well, we'll start with the one story here. There's a sign by St. Philip's Cemetery that says there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost. And that's because in 1888, a woman by the name of Sue Howard Hardy died 10 days after her stillborn child. So the baby was born dead. Obviously, she died 10 days later out of heartbreak. 1989, 1988, 100 years later, 99 years later, depending on what legend you read, we have a photographer in town taking pictures. He puts his camera lens through all of our cemeteries. He captures a full apparition. Woman wearing a shawl and a baby basket next to her, right next to the grave. And we didn't have cell phones and Photoshop and all that stuff, so he sends it to Kodak to try to debunk it. They can't debunk it. So I don't show it because it is cursed. Any woman that holds it starts to feel dizzy, not doing well. Any pregnant woman that holds it will not have a good pregnancy. Obviously, you can understand why I don't show this on my tours. You want to look it up on your own. It's on your audio, so you can remember the name, Sue Howard Hardy.
Sue Howard Hardy. I can
Sue
remember
Howard
that.
Hardy.
Yeah.
It's actually on your audio, so when you're listening, write it down.
Yeah.
It is a really cool picture.
Yeah.
And it's a great piece of evidence. So the other story is the ghost at Dock Street Theater. So the history there is it was a theater. This was Dock Street. Then it was a hotel that had prostitution.
Yeah.
And then it was Dock Street Theater that we know now. This story actually goes with the hotel portion right in the middle of the Dock Street Theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Young lady working at the church, Nettie Dickerson. She was past the marrying age of 17. She was 23. Couldn't get a husband, but she's seen all the prostitution going on down at the hotel, and she went down there to go get herself a job.
Gotcha.
She got in. She's the best loved girl in the place, but she still wasn't happy. So she used to sit out on a second-story balcony and wonder about coming back. On one night when she's doing this, the priest sees this. He goes down to talk to her. Storm rolls in. Lightning strikes the wrought iron banister she's leaning on, strikes her dead. Now, she can be seen from the knees up only. Why? Because when we turned it back into a theater, we raised the first floor ceiling. She's walking on the floor that she knows. I got the word pain. I still have the word church. So it's very interesting that we're on Church Street and we're talking about the church. The other ghost that's there is Junius Booth, father of John Wilkes Booth, who shot Lincoln in a theater. No pun intended, but that's how it works. I don't have any proof of that. I think that the place is haunted, and I've been in there several times with all my gizmos, gadgets, listening, watching. I think it's haunted because we transferred some wood from a mansion in the Radcliffe Borough neighborhood, kind of close to where we were when we started. That was Anson Borough, one block up is Radcliffe. We transferred all that stuff over to Dock Street Theater. It's in the chair rail on the balcony, and it's also the first doors you walk into the main part of the floor. They wouldn't let me near them with my EMF meter, so I can't tell if that's it or not. So a lot of interesting stuff here. That's obviously a very popular area. They tell all three of those stories in a good 30-minute session. Again, I like to give you guys the skinny to see if there's anything actually there. I don't have anything haunted on the Powder magazine. You will hear claims of a female pirate that haunts the place. They actually used to do ghost hunts just in the front lawn. I never get anything anytime I'm there. So, doesn't look like anybody's going to be clearing away soon. So once this group passes us by, we're going to walk back to Philadelphia Alley and walk through, kind of listen for those whistles. This is where you're going to turn your audio up when we're walking through, but Rowan, by all means, listen to your spirit box. If we cut through another tour, which most tours do go through there, just go ahead and turn it down out of respect for them to tell their doctor story, and we'll kind of see what we capture. And then, of course, London, you already got some pictures in there, right? Yeah. All right. So we're going to follow these guys. This guy's carrying a whole gallon of water with him. Smart guy, right? I got enough gear to carry. Dang, am I boring you to death? You look tired.
No. I'm tired, but you're not boring me.
Okay,
Yeah, something
you guys
good.
know where you are? Or
Yeah. They just told me.
well, you guys have a good evening. I
No,
will...
you're safe.
Oh, okay, okay. Alrighty, we will move forward. So we're going to do a short thing. We'll get here every time. So, I'm not going to take it like a deer every now and then over here. So technically, because this is a residential district, I'm not supposed to do this. So for the time being, you guys are my friends from out of town. You're no longer my students. But you guys are already my friends, so that's not that much of a So I give you guys clues on the audio too. So if I hear something on my spirit box, like I just told you guys for later, this is where you'll turn it up. So listen, so we're still in Delta, so we're heading up through all the way down.
I'm getting hit up. You getting hit? I'm getting hit up.
I got this one. So you sure it's not familiar?
On my leg.
No. There's no green light in here to make that green.
dropped off on the outside. No changes, no Now today, yeah, no problem. So today that's like the geographical center of the peninsula, but in the late 1700s that was kind of in the middle of nowhere. And Dr. Ladd didn't know it, and that wasn't the place he landed in 1974. And he didn't plan very well. He didn't have any English hoping to walk in. Dr. Joseph Ladd was walking down.
See how they make it a big theatric?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that a bear as a tattoo on your arm?
Huh?
Isn't that a bear on your arm?
No, lion.
A lion?
Yeah.
I thought I seen a bear at the top.
A cub.
That's a cub.
A lion cub.
Yeah,
Ah,
lion
I was gonna
cub.
say, 'cause I
There
got
you
the
go.
word bear.
Yeah.
It's kind of dark, man. Cut
Yeah,
me some
yeah.
slack.
Yeah, you good, man? Uh-oh, y'all seen that?
Doesn't happen every night. That's the weird thing about that motion light.
Oh, man.
It does not happen every night. You guys will start to see like some of the scratches in the bricks.
Yeah.
Fingerprints. There's a couple more up in the center.
Hmm.
Yeah, a couple long bricks. Those are pretty definitive. There's no mistaking. Those are fingerprints.
Oh, yeah.
That one there.
A couple of them right here. Yeah.
And
Okay.
there's the handprint right here.
Right here.
Yeah.
Using the camera or the phone?
Because, you know, I'm smart. Well, camera's almost dead. It just will have a weird yellow green tint.
It up.
Only one more. Promise.
All right.
I feel bad for Megan. She looks like she's about to go to sleep.
We walk right past it. Then we back that way. I think we
I don't know.
could.
Put it in. We're not far away.
I thought so. Well, this is
Really?
Queen, right?
Less than half a mile from
Yeah,
where
let's
we're
back
at.
up
What,
that
from
way.
your car?
Yeah.
Where'd you guys park?
I don't know which street, which was silly not to look at, but we're near the Blind Tiger.
Yeah, the blind tiger. Ain't the blind tiger around here somewhere? Oh,
Yeah.
maybe we're a long way off. I might be
No.
delusional.
Let's Google it real quick. Because we're going to look at this building,
Yeah.
and we're literally only about half a mile from where we started. It's like a 5-minute walk
Gotcha.
from where we started.
Yeah.
But if you can find it quicker from the front of this place,
Yeah.
I'd rather you guys do that because you're going back to your car after this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get a walking distance and see how far away you are. Yeah, Blind Tiger's 0.1 miles away.
Okay. You're
I
right.
thought so.
I didn't realize it must be there.
I'm guessing it's this way. This is Queen.
Yeah, you're 1 block away. So if I turn this,
Yeah.
like we're right here.
Uh-huh.
That's East Bay Street where we're gonna go, and you go down 1 major block and come up, make a right.
I hear what
So
you're
that's
saying.
perfect. That worked
Yeah.
out really well for you guys.
Yeah.
Good, because you're exhausted. I can see. You feel so bad. You look so tired.
It's okay.
Good morning. All right, so I'll make this story pretty quick.
Yeah.
This actually used to be part of our cotton industry. This is the Wagner building. So
Gotcha.
it looks like Wagner to us ignorant Americans, but it's actually Wagner, German. But the last guy who owned it as part of the cotton industry, his name was George Poirier. He inherited the business from his dad. In the back of it would have been the warehouse. The front would have been the offices. He actually got himself into a bunch of debt because he had no idea what he was doing. His dad never taught him anything about business, so he was silver spoon. So he gets himself into a bunch of debt, and the boll weevil's in town too, so it's eating up all his crops. It's really up the creek. He he has no idea what the hell he's going to do to pay off all these debts. So what's he do? He sells all of his crops, all the cotton, over to the British at a cheaper price. So he still doesn't have enough to pay off all his debts, but he sells it anyway. So they unload a horse and buggy out of the garages in the back here, and that's Pineapple Park straight ahead in front of it. It wasn't there, so the ship would have rolled right up. He would have been able to see everything. So he's watching from the second-story window, and somebody gets too close to the cotton with a pipe. He lit a pipe, and it lit the cotton. The whole ship goes up in flames, and everybody dies. George is watching this from the second-story window. He's already depressed. His dad's legacy's gone. What's he do? He piles up all the furniture, puts a chair on the top, swings a noose through the rafters, and hangs himself. It's the newspaper kid that caught him the next morning, ran down and told the paper, blah, blah, blah. Interesting. Sorry, this gadget, I love it. But George. So it is said you could see the shadow of a swinging corpse from the second-story window. Another reason why I got that device. We also have different weird temperature differences at the very top of the building versus 5 feet down at the same type of stone in the front of the building. So we won't do that test tonight. I mean, it's super humid. It's going to be relatively close, I bet. But it's a super weird experiment that in times can go 30 degrees difference. We'll just test it with your camera and see what it is. But we'll get a nice slow sweep along the front of it. And as far as Spirit Box, by all means, keep listening to it and keep it recording. You still have the little SD on the screen there. You can see it's on the right-hand side. I think I can see it from here.
Yeah.
All right, so the other weird thing about this building is where we came out of, Philadelphia Alley, one block up, is Poogan's Porch. You guys have been here lots of times. I'm sure you've heard of it. It is haunted by Poogan the dog and Zoe, the previous owner, who used to live there. That was her residence. It wasn't a restaurant. A lot of times I'll ask her, what's your house look like now? And she'll give me things like food, plate, spoon, things that relate to a restaurant. I already got the word food. So that's very interesting. So I never know who's actually going to pop up. Sometimes it's one or the other, sometimes it's both. Zoe fell down the stairs. That's how she died. The hotel across the street from it also has claims that lights will turn on and off in the middle of the night. There's nobody in the building. Like, that's her place. Poogan was actually fed by the construction crew that transformed the building into a restaurant. It wasn't Zoe herself, which I was corrected by a concierge that was on my tour. Or Alice's. That's interesting. But we'll kind of take a peek at this building and see what we can get out of it, and then we will call it a night, get you guys back to your car. You guys can ask me any questions that you guys want to along the way, but I do need you to listen on your Spirit Box. You can ask if it's Zoe or George. I'll be doing the same thing on mine, unless you guys, of course, want to chat along the way. It's not very far. It's only one block. So let's cross legal.
Go right ahead.
As soon as this car moves.
We're gonna call.
So, what's your house look like now? Tell us more. Tell me more about your house. What's it look like now?
Should go look at the house look like now. Hopefully what it's Me and Daddy ate it, but we did pork last night. What laughing about?
You?
Why?
You're exhausted.
I got your top.
Oh, yeah. That's up to weekend, yeah.
If you could come over here, remember that can't see through windows, but we're looking for the temperature difference on windows. So when you hold it up there, we're looking for like one window to literally go, yeah, that's the first story, there's the second story. We want one window to change to a different color. You're good, come on through. To change to a different color. So see how they're all kind of the same pattern right there? So if we move over to the next window, again, I just look for a nice slow sweep along the whole second floor, just to see if we can catch the change there, but they all changed at the same time. So that's, again, he would have been able to see everything from that second story. Most stories will tell you that it's the third floor, but every time I ask them, I get the number 2, second, those kind of things. So anything relating with the number 2. So I've been focused on the second floor for a year, and that's usually where I get the activity from. So, all right. Oh, you do actually have the infrared. I'm sorry, I thought I collected them. So the blue one? Yep. See the big stone at the very top, how it makes a crown over the top of the motor? And then there's the same type of stone about 5 feet down?
Yeah.
That's where I'm talking about where there's a 30-degree difference. Let's take the temperature of both of those with that gun. So hit that red dot all the way up there. Keep going, all the way up to the top. Keep going, right up. Next one over and into the center of the building. There you go. That one.
75.
And then the one above it.
60.
So we got a 15-degree difference. I'll take it. It's normally a normal range for that is about 7 to 12 degree difference based on the wind coming in off the wall. That's a very hot muggy one. There's no reason why that should be. It has gone all the way up to 30 degrees. Now I did get the word assistant. So I said, oh, my assistant is London. They told me her name. And what did it give me? Unique. So London is a very unique name. I would say so, wouldn't you? But I also did get the word food earlier as well. So it says quick food. I don't know that that's an actual relative term or not. But with that, guys, I think we're Spirit Box recording all night long. You gave me some really great video. I'm going to call it a night and look at all your down and boring and see what we came up with. And then we'll kind of take things from there. I will text you the link, and then there'll be plenty of notes for you guys to look through. So go ahead and start collecting for me.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, no problem, guys. You guys were awesome. Thank you so much for your patience. I'm going to get you guys